First of all, I think we'd like to apologize for starting a little bit late because we are accommodating people who could have been caught in traffic, or some of them, it's their first time to come to Sandton, to Morningside. Others are from Diepsloot. It's difficult to get to Sandton, especially on the 20th floor. I think some of them did pass out in the lift coming up here. Let me first introduce myself. My name is Chris Giane. I'm dubbed the stalwart of BBCBE, and also other titles that I have, but I think for today it will suffice to say that I'm the stalwart of the BBCBE. I've been asked to co-host this event with my co-pilot here. She's going to introduce herself.
Evening, everyone. Evening, everyone. Thank you. I mean, there's a pretty lady standing in front of you. Well, my name is Lerato Mwamohwa, but you can call me Construction Bay. And I'm a member of the Black Business Council in the Build Environment Youth Chamber. And I will be driving the whole show with Mr. Giane. And we hope this crowd is going to be delightful and very much on the groove. Hey? We're celebrating great people who are doing great things out there. Thank you.
It's not a day for speeches. It's not a conference. It's a good day. And everybody's got to feel this vibe. We're here to really sort of award the people who know and save lives, even, you know, the sites where we're working. And do you agree that we've got to sit where we are and feel good about ourselves and make sure that we're looking forward to this day and as we kickstart? Selector, let's see if they can do this.
Happy day.
I remember this, Edwin. Never will forget this. My, it's like music to my ear. What a wonderful day.
Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. Jesus won. Jesus won. Oh, when he won. When Jesus won. When he did, when he won. When Jesus won. He washed my sins away. Oh, happy day. It was a happy day.
Sing it, baby girl.
Oh, happy day.
Oh, happy day.
Oh, happy day.
Oh, happy day.
When Jesus won.
When Jesus won.
When he won.
When Jesus won.
He won.
When Jesus won.
He washed my sins away.
Oh,
Oh, yes, he did.
telling you.
Happy.
Oh, happy day. He taught me
Yes, he taught me how
to walk.
to watch.
And pray.
Yes, he did.
Keep on fighting.
Rejoicing. Every day. Oh, yes, he is. My good God. Oh, yeah.
Thank you. That sounds like we're going to have a good time. And you can clap hands for yourself for that one. Well done. Well done. As I was coming here, Lerato asked me for money to go and do her hair because she was co-hosting with me. And she said, and she forgot my name, that I was not Rich, I was Chris. And she said, Rich, can you spare me some money for my hair? I need to go and do my hair before I get to this do. And I said, no. I don't have money. He says, but you said you are rich. And I said, no, that's the beginning. I'm Richard. Okay. I think we'll start with the welcoming all of you. And I think, as we say, this is about safety. This is about occupational safety. And I think coming from FEM, coming from BBCBE, we do this very, very well. I'd like to call on the stage Bismarck. I call him Otto von Bismarck. Those who know history will know how the Chancellor of Germany, Otto von Bismarck, just to give us the safety drill. Mr. Bismarck?
Very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I do welcome you to the venue, Green Park, here in the heart of Sandton and Johannesburg. My name is Bismarck, and I'm your health and safety representative from the venue. Just to quickly go through the health and safety briefing. First of all, our bathrooms are straight up the stairs at the back of the room. We also have got the overflow bathroom situated downstairs by the 19th floor. We've got two smoking sections. The first one is on my left-hand side on the main balcony, and the other one is right at the back of the room. There's a small balcony as well. Just in case of emergency, please remain seated as the venue staff will come and escort you to the predetermined safety zone. So the first emergency exit is by the main entrance to your right-hand side, and the second one is on the balcony here. Please utilize the stairs, and the third one is right at the back of the room. Also utilize the stairs. Our nearest hospital is right next to us, which is Morningside Medical Clinic. Thank you so much for hosting a function with us. Please enjoy the evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Bismarck. A big hand for Bismarck. Samunda. Thank you so much. Sir. I think, again, we insisted that he does it because he's the tenant here. Otherwise, if any of us had offered to do this, we would have said 10 right instead of turning left, and you would have gone straight through that window. The rest is history. I'm going to, because of time, call upon and just make sure that I earn my salary at the end of the month. It's the end of the month, isn't it? Call upon Mr. Danny Masimeni to do his opening remarks and welcoming Mr. Danny Masimeni, who's the BBCBE president. Over to you, sir. If you could.
Sanibonani. Molweni. The reason why I'm saying Molweni is because my counterparts, they are in Japan. And I guess it could be in the morning, if not very late in the evening. And they would have wanted to be part of this occasion. That is on a lighter note. However, let me take this opportunity to greet you all and to welcome you to this mammoth event, which you are holding every year. It is an annual event, and it is there in our calendar, and it is marked with a permanent marker. So even if you want to remove it, it won't be possible. As introduced, my name is Danny Masimene. I'm the president of the Black Business Council in the built environment. Uh, Currently, I'm the executive president while we are still searching for the CEO. But don't worry, it is the executive president with responsibilities but with no perks. So there is nothing extra that comes to my pocket. So don't worry about nepotism when it comes to that. So I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome. The reason that you are here is because you are our strategic stakeholder and partners. And I'd like to take these opportunities, firstly to welcome our main partner and strategic stakeholder, FEM. I'm not sure whether Department of Labor is in the room, but I wanted to indicate to Department of Labor that FEM is not your competitor, but they are just complementing what you are doing. And it is time, colleagues, that in particular in the public sector, that we have all clients recognizing what we call the letter of good standing. I am aware, and it has been reported to me, that some of the clients, they disqualify our contractors on the basis of them supplying or providing with a letter of good standing. And I'm talking about workers' compensation from FEM. So they are not in competition with Department of Labor, but they are just complementing. And you know, in Department of Labor, and I'm not trying to canvass for FEM, they did not pay me for that, is that before you renew, you will be requested 101 returns, and some of them you can't even recall. But with FEM, as long as you are up to date with your premiums, definitely you'll be able to get your letter of good standing, and your bids or your tender will be compliant. And on the second part, I would like to welcome the Construction Industry Development Board, Representative Mr. Kasim. And I also happen to be Mr. Kasim's boss because he's reporting to me. That is another cap that I'm wearing. I'm the accounting authority at CIDB. Hey, I have very many people who are reporting to me. And I also have Sifiso. Sifiso is from the construction SITA. He also reports to me as I'm the accounting authority there. And I see that the chairperson and the CEO are not here. They have decided to go and bless another event at our cost, but they'll have to pay for that. Colleagues, I would like to welcome all the participants and also try to indicate that the fact that you are here, you are the winner. Who becomes the first does not matter. Can you give yourself a round of applause? I'll be failing in my duty if I don't recognize the past presidents of the Black Business Council in the built environment, Ntate Paul Kholem Goni. You are mostly welcome. Even though I'm the executive president, allow me, colleagues, to also introduce the CEOs, because now we have BBCBE Group. Let me start with the CEO of the foundation. Can you please rise? We do have BBCBE Foundation. It is still gaining its muscle, and I'm referring to the financial muscle, so that they can also contribute to the people of Gaza Strip in Palestine, who are being bombarded every day. But we hope that there won't be next time. But for our organization in South Africa, the Gift of the Givers, they are doing a sterling work there. So let's pray for peace in both Israel and Palestine. The TG of this organization, who has paid for all this, could not be with us because she is involved in another engagement in Mpumalanga. She would have wanted to be with us, but unfortunately, she could not be with us. And colleagues, I would like to also welcome presidents of member organizations who are here, the CEO of our corporate members, not only corporate members, but also the CEOs of construction companies who have heeded to our call and have availed to themselves. You know, when we said to them that can we have access to your site so that we do what we know best. And what we know best is safety. Safety in the industry. Some of us, we started in this industry many years ago, even before the safety could be an element in the construction industry. But when it was introduced, it was very difficult, mostly to our emerging sector, in the sense that it required them to go and pay. As you all know, safety is not free. It comes at a cost. And we've been trying to advocate and lobby, in particular the Department of Labor, so that they can all at least pass a regulation that will make sure that we don't have to compete in terms of prices for the lives of our people. We believe that there has to be a provisional sum for safety or anything that related to safety. You know that starting with the safety files, the PPEs, you know, barricading, they all come at a cost. And when we look at our procurement system, for you to be able to become the successful bidder, unfortunately, we had these unintended consequences that you have to be the cheapest, regardless of whether that being the cheapest is going to compromise on safety, whether it's going to compromise on the structure, whether it's going to compromise on anything related to whatever that you'll be constructing. But according to Treasury, they say once you are the cheapest, you must be awarded. And that is the battle that as BBCBE, we are not going to stop up until we win this battle. Because we feel that price cannot be everything. And the basis upon which the price was designed, section 2 of the triple PFA, the 90-20, the 90-10 principle and the 80-20 principle, where the 90 is the price, and on projects less than 50 million, 80 becomes the price. And unfortunately for us is that that price also include, you know, making sure that our construction sites are safe. And we feel that that is not something that we need to compete upon, because if I charge less, then I'll be compromising on the quality of safety in construction site. So on that note, colleagues, I would like to invite all of you to join us, to be activists, that even if you join us only for this other item, we have other items, we'll go alone on those items. But just join us on this one so that we continue to lobby that we cannot compete on price when it comes to safety matters, because we are talking about the lives of people. And it does not mean that even if they are compensated, their lives will go back to normal. Some of them will be confined to wheelchair. Some of them will be losing their breadwinners. And it is our mission, colleagues, and we need to, at some stage, sign some sort of commitment, all of us, that will make sure that the issue of safety comes number one on our agenda. And the compromising on safety does not only affect the emerging sector, it also affects the established sector. I think those who will recall, there was a bridge that collapsed along Greyston Drive, and the service provider there was coming from the established sector. So this is not a cry for coming from only the emerging sector. It affects all of us in the industry. So, colleagues, with these words, as I welcome you all, I think we'll be listening to many speeches coming from the industry players, but the VIPs today are our participants. And let's put our hands together for all our participants. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, President Denis Masemene, for the welcoming opening remarks. So I'm called here, but the mood is down already. Mr. DJ, now so. Yes, so I'm here to introduce one of our speakers, and I hope we'll also keep to time, just like our president did. All right. Technology.
SOP 8. Are you ready to move forward? No more going back. We are moving forward. Not gonna be weary. I'm not gonna give up. Forward I go with my Lord. I'm not gonna be weary. I'm not gonna give up. Forward I go with my. I'm not gonna be weary. I'm not gonna be weary. I'm not gonna give up. Forward. I see Shazam. See it. Forward. Go.
Thank you so much, Mr. DJ. Yes, so like I was saying, I'm here to introduce one of our speakers to give a message of support. But before I do that, I just wanted to remind you guys that you are in the midst of winners, right? People who are contributing to the bigger picture of saving lives and moving towards #0 casualties. But I will be introducing Mr. Ismail Kasim, who is the director at Construction Industry Performance Program at the CIDB board, CIDB, responsible for performance, improvement, development, and best practices, standards, and policies in the construction industry. The contractor recognition scheme, the best practice assessment scheme, monitoring of the economic activity in the construction industry, and the measures by which public sector spending is scheduled, and quarterly and annual reports on the state of the industry. He holds an MSc in project management from the University of Pretoria. He has been working for civil engineering contractors, the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, and a training company. Has over 30 years experience in the construction industry. He participates in various committees at the South African Bureau of Standards and is a chairperson of the SAB Technical Subcommittee for the Building and Civil Engineering Works. He is also a member of the Construction Technical Committee dealing with health and safety at the Department of Employment and Labor. Mr. Ishmael, can you please join me on stage?
Not gonna be weary, I'm not gonna give up for what I go with my Lord. I'm not gonna be weary.
Thank you for that. But I have to thank you for inviting the CIDB to this fantastic, great evening here with winners that we are all striving towards as part of a collective. It's, for me, tonight is a culmination of a lot of years that the CIDB has worked with industry, particularly with the BBCBE. And what I've done is, and I don't know whether I am allowed to do it, I have drafted a presentation, but I will talk to it, and I just felt that it wouldn't do justice to BBCBE because I'll take you through a tour in terms of health and safety, amongst many other things, but tonight we're celebrating health and safety. And it is everything that we as a CIDB have done with construction industry, but particularly with BBCBE. And for me, I just don't know how many, oh, here we go, so here's the next one, excuse me. So I'm not going to give a lecture, that's not the purpose of this, but I felt if you can indulge me in terms of the road that we took with BBCBE and the results that we see today. And I think it's fitting for tonight, particularly with you winners here in the health and safety environment. So for us, we look at the organization's objective, and the president has spoken about this. We are all in the business, and I'm speaking to the converted, but in your objectives, do you look at health and safety improvement, or is it about other things only? And that is the big question. And as you all are here, you are contractors, your basic business is are projects, and through projects, there's a whole range of activities, and I've got to give it to you again, to venture through all of these requirements and applying your health and safety and being here tonight, it's a great task. So as you can see, and as we all know, health and safety permeates through everything we do. Now, this one word here is not correct. CIDB health and safety interventions. That is why my starting remarks was that we've done this with the help of industry, but particularly with the BBCBE as we've come a long way. So the CIDB health and safety intervention, that is only, we are only the title holders of this, but it is basically the construction industry as well, and particularly the BBCBE partners that we've gone through. So what we've done, over many years, we've engaged industry, and BBCBE has walked with us through this part. Until today, it is culminated in a program that we call the BUILD program. Now, this BUILD program, what it does, it requires a client, and this is particularly based and targeted at clients implementing these instruments. So the first one is the standards. So we know that the clients, we require the clients to implement from grade 7 and above the standards, and also we collect a fee from them. And we'll talk about the fee, what we do with the fee. So the standards consist of 2 for now, and as we go through our consultations, as we develop these standards with US partners, we add more to our BUILD program. So 2 standards, one is the enterprise development and the other one is the skills. I'm not going to talk about that. And like I said, the enterprise development is for a certain class of works, the GB and the CE, and it must be only for grade 7 and above. And the duration is specified in the standards. But what it does, and this is particularly important for you, is it requires the main contractor to spend at least 5% to a subcontractor or number of subcontractors
And it can be more. And this is what we tell the client to do in the standard. And also with that is this main contractor must now assist in the development of the smaller contractors, in other words, probably 1 to 6. And one of the areas is they can perhaps, if the health and safety competence is lacking, then this is one area in which this standard will assist our industry in getting the health and safety up, amongst other things. Then we have the skills development. This one is applicable to all classes of works. It's for grade 7 and above 20 million rand. And it is for both contractors and professional service providers. But what it does, again for health and safety, as we are aware, this standard is meant to take candidates who need their further qualification and training, and then contractors are placing them on construction sites and expose them to various activities so that they can complete their theoretical training as well as professional for registration. And all of these that do have health and safety because it's embedded. Once they're on a construction project, for example, we talk about the health and safety toolbox talks in the morning, so it's embedded in the whole process. So, but what we do with it, we don't just talk about this. There's a whole compliance set around this, which the CIDB undertake from clients to ensure that clients do this, and they ensure that the contractors are implementing this. I'm not going to go through that. We have these information available, and we can engage later. But what is very important about the BUILD program, for every project from grade 7 and above, the CIDB collects a fund of 0.2%, of which we call the BUILD fund, and that is what we use for the development of the construction industry. And this has been gazetted in 2020. It became implemented or implementable in April 2021, so it is law. All clients, if it is affected in terms of their projects, they must implement this. They don't have a choice, and this is how we're driving the development agenda for the construction industry. And again, I'm not going to go through this in detail. What we do have, we have a construction industries development strategy that we have from the BUILD. Now this is where we have the BUILD funds, and this is what we are spending and planning for the next 5 years to spend on various areas of development. And again, these were done in consultation, and we're still in consultation with industry and BBCBE as a partner, as a stakeholder. So currently what we're doing now, we are doing the next month, we'll start with an APL, that is the assessment of prior learning of contractors. We're all aware that most of our contractors, they do have years of experience, but they don't have the formal qualification. That is what we're starting to do now, so that they can have a recognition for prior learning, and that is equivalent to a grade. The second one is the construction management systems, which we have started implementing with women-owned contractors for now, the first round. So we aim to have 250 women-owned contractors trained by the end of March next year. So far, we have trained 76, and we are still continuing with that. After that, and that's not the end, after that, we will then start with the other categories of contractors with CMSs. And we can see there's a whole range of activities in which the CIDB will undertake. And these, in conjunction with the board, my boss here, we take what is priority, and then we will then implement those things here. But coming back to the health and safety issues here, this is the APL, Assessment of Prior Learning, which is based on the CIDB standard. It is called a competence standard. And as we know, we have our CETA colleague here. The unit standards, they do speak about quality management. We talk about health and safety, and this particularly talks about the health and safety component in this area, in this instance. When we talk about the health and safety construction management systems, we are aware, as we all know, for the larger companies, the ISO standards are adequate, they are fine with that, but they are 3 silo systems. What we have done, again, through and in collaboration with industry and BBCBE, we have developed a South African construction management system which integrates those 3, quality management, health and safety, and environmental, and it is now the SANS 1393, which we had and gave to the South African Bureau standards, is now a South African national standard. Currently, it is for review, and again, the process, it is the result that culminates in this when government, ourselves, as a regulator, work with industry, and this is what we get here. And that is, currently it is being implemented, and here part of the CMSs, the construction management systems that are being implemented, or where the women-owned contractors are being trained. Here they are. We've done a few, 2 in Gauteng, we're going back to KZN, I think Limpopo, and the Mpumalanga province, and as we go along, we go to the other provinces as we go along. And like I said, we're starting with the APLs, and these are applied to, for a moment now, we are applying that to the NDCP, the contractor development programs, and we take them through the process. So what we do is we set instruments in place through and with collaboration with construction industry, BBCBE, yourselves, and we come up with instruments where we can support not only the emerging sector, but the construction industry, like the President has said, so that we can have a reputable construction industry where we save lives, we prevent injuries and fatalities, and we improve the performance. What we do in terms of the future, health and safety, and the President, I'm glad he spoke to this particular one. We are in the process of developing the health and safety management plans, which are aligned to the construction regulations. Currently, we are waiting and working with the Department of Employment and Labor. They are revising the construction regulations, and once that is finalized, we will then finalize this one here. And this one now will have a uniform application about how and what should a health and safety management plan look like, instead of the current scenario that we have. Everyone comes with a different requirement, but once we have implemented this, and again we work with industry and BBCBE in terms of what this looks like. It's an advanced stage. We've done a lot of work on it, but as soon as the Department of Employment and Labor, they have completed their, the new or the amended construction regulations, we will then amend ours and enhance ours to be in line with this. Now, the importance of this is we are also in the process of developing the construction health and safety specifications. Now, with that comes the quantification of health and safety cost, and that is how we intend with industry, with yourselves, to address this problem of the cost of health and safety as a price or an item on the bill of quantities. And lastly, in terms of what we're also doing is we are looking at the primary health care assessment for every person working on a construction project. And that we give that, again, the responsibility to the client, and they must ensure that the contractors and the subcontractors, they do the assessments of their workers on a project. In terms of getting the statistics, getting our status of our workers in the construction industry in terms of what their primary sort of health situation and conditions are. So we do take cognizance that it is not only about the safety part of things, but we are also moving into the health part of things here, and that is also at an advanced stage, which we will come back to you, and we are working with the industry and BBCBE. These drafts are available if you want to peruse at it. It's on our CIDP website. You may look at it. It will help you, particularly the health and safety management plans. It is a very good tool. Now, with all these said, do we get improved performance? As we know, what the CIDP does, what requires you as a contractor to register with the CIDP, you must have your finances in place and you must have completed a project, and that's it. But you can carry on like that. But what what is very, for us, encouraging is what we hear tonight. This is a group of people that go beyond that. So these are what you do in your construction companies. This is what the established ones are doing in terms of having all of these in place. It's an excellence, a business excellence model. But what's important about this and what I've mentioned earlier, all of these, they fit into this whole process. In other words, if you have the competence, you are aware of the health and safety requirements, you follow the standards, you follow the law, and you have management systems, then you must have good results. And that is what we see here tonight. So what we are doing from the CIDB side, we support the emerging sector to get to the result side so that they can now, and yourselves, can improve health and safety, amongst other things. As you know, as businesses, the health and safety is not the only one. But for us tonight, we're looking at how we, from the CIDB, can assist and support the emerging sector and the construction industry as a whole. By introducing these instruments, we will be able now to improve the performance of the construction industry. And to me, and again, a very big thank you to BBCBE for supporting the CIDB, working with us for a number of years. I remember we started with these things in about 2007, and today we can see the results of this, and it has culminated in a build program. We're collecting funds, and we are using those funds to implement and improve the construction industry, particularly the emerging sector. And I thank you, Chair. Thank you.
Let's take another round of applause for Mr. Kasim. Thank you very much, sir. When the president was here, he was bragging about being your boss. He forgot to tell you that I was your boss before he became your boss. Yeah, I just wanted to correct that. I've been tasked to, I think when the president was introducing the CEOs at BBCBE, and he asked Mr. Tsepo Kaudi to stand up, and I think he should do that now with Mrs. Kaudi, both of them very elegantly dressed, and I think that, yeah, can we have a round of applause for him? And then we have another CEO who's with our investment holdings, BIH, and I'd like to introduce again Mrs. Mapoto Mosala. Thank you so much. Thank you. If you could just indulge us, we have a short video that we're going to be playing just now. Video 2, please, selector.
pequeña vergüenza, cuando solo necesita así no
The Black Business Council Occupational Health and Safety Schools Activation Project, powered by FEM. The purpose of this project is to ensure that young people in the secondary phase of schooling are conscious and aware of the importance of health and safety in schools, as well as the dangers of not adhering to safety protocols within their immediate environment. We also implore them to reduce the amount of incidents leading to injuries, especially amongst young people. The objectives of this program is to train young people in health and safety, ensure the promotion of basic health and safety awareness within previously disadvantaged communities, as well as monitor the reduction in injuries within previously disadvantaged communities. Also encouraging young people from previously disadvantaged communities to take part in safety initiatives. These are some of the focus areas of our program, which include health and safety in firefighting, OHS SHREPs, first aid, and hazardous substances. Together, creating safe and nurturing environments within schools through innovative educational strategies, one school at a time.
Yeah, I just wondered how many people were listening. We had a problem with the noise in the background, but I think you did grasp what was happening there. Some of the good work that is done by BBCBE in conjunction with FEM, going to schools and making sure that we start them young. Once you start them young, that whole sort of culture sort of goes through, and then even when people are older, they take precautions and they know and they can actually do the right thing. And as a result of that, they follow their dreams. And the dreams are, if you follow your dreams, you know, as you sleep, you can dream about having money. And it's going to be very nice that you're dreaming about having money. And when you wake up suddenly, you find that this was a dream and there's no money. Then when you go to your second dream and dream that you have a car, are you listening, Mr. Stuke? And you dream that you have a car, and you all get excited and all that, and as soon as you are awake and you wake up, the car is not there. But just don't dream that you are visiting the cloakrooms and you have to urinate, because that's going to be like real. So don't do that. Okay. I think we then move on, I think, to the crux where we are going to be having our keynote address. And I think this is going to be, it's not a mean feat for me because I know the person very well. Ms. Ndibuo Manyonga, who's the CEO at FEM. A lot of you have heard the name FEM, Federated Employers Mutual. She's the CEO there, and Ndibuo is the CEO of the Federated Employers Mutual Assurance Company, Proprietary Limited. FEM provides workmen's compensation cover to the construction industry in terms of the Compensation for Occupational Injuries and Disease Act, that is COID. Ndibuo also chairs the FEM Education Foundation, which aims to make a real and significant impact in improving education in South Africa through strategic partnerships. Ndibuo has 22 years' experience with financial services, spanning product development, pricing, financial modeling, valuations, and consulting. She has occupied executive roles within financial services and has served as non-executive director of a number of organizations. She is a fellow of the Actuarial Society of South Africa and holds a Bachelor of Business Science degree in Actuarial Science and a postgraduate diploma, Actuarial Science, from the University of Cape Town. She is a board member at FEM, ex officio, the FEM Education Foundation and the Sanlam. Those are places where she serves as a board member. She is the first black South African woman to qualify as an actuary. Let's hear it for her. Yeah. I haven't finished. She is a recipient of the Asaba Actuarial Women's Committee Inkanyezi Award. ASA's Actuarial Women's Committee's Women Pioneer in the Actuarial Profession Award and APSIP's Achievers Award. She embraces opportunities to mentor others and to assist those studying with their actuarial exams. Divuo is married to Howard and has 3 children and 3 dogs. Izinja. I think let's all welcome Divuo as she comes on stage. Selector, play a song for her. Guys, this music was
Thank you very much, and thank you to Chris for that introduction. And just to acknowledge him by name, because he is part of the board of FEM, so he is my boss. So I will recognize Christian, who's extremely supportive at all times. And then just to acknowledge all the honored guests today who are here, and even more especially those who are going to be receiving awards today. It's great to see some familiar faces, and I'm hoping that those same familiar faces that FEM has awarded Health and Safety Awards to are also going to be getting awards today. So I completely acknowledge that we've fallen a little bit behind with time. So I'm not going to put up the slides that I'd intended to put up. I'm going to wing it so that I try and reduce the amount of time I spend here, because I am standing between you and the main reason why you are here, which is to celebrate the awardees and not necessarily to listen to me speak. So let me just maybe start off by giving you a little bit of insight on who FEM is, because that in itself dictated why it is I wanted to focus on what I wanted to focus today when I share a few things with you. So as FEM, we provide workmen's compensation cover for the construction industry. We operate under license from the Department of Employment and Labor, and we work very closely with the Compensation Fund. I think the President did mention that we're a collaborator and not a competitor. And that is actually extremely true. We work regularly and constantly with the Compensation Fund to try and advance workmen's compensation in South Africa for the benefit of all injured employees, right? So we are indeed their partner. If you are a company that's in the construction space, you do have an option of either taking out your cover with the Compensation Fund or with FEM. We currently cover about 6,500 employers in the construction space, and they in turn employ about 300,000 people. So we estimate that we cover about half of the construction industry. And I state that because, when you look at our stats of accidents, you almost have to double it for what it's likely to look like for the entire industry, because our story only tells half of the story. There's a couple of things that are very core to FEM in terms of our value system and what drives us on a daily basis. The first one is we really care about the well-being of injured employees or their dependents. right? So I think that's the one thing that I want to mention. It's very key to us. We see on a daily basis the hardship that accidents in the workplace cause. And it's key from our perspective to say, how do we try and ease that? Not only in the context of the compensation benefits that we pay, but we tend to go beyond that as well. The second thing that's key from an FEM perspective is that we champion health and safety in the construction industry. And for us, it's about saying, how do we ensure that we don't have to actually end up in an environment where we've got all these injured employees that we have? How do we prevent accidents to start with? So that's why championing health and safety is quite key for us. And it, in fact, is part of the reason why we've got this relationship with the BBCBE. We view them and a number of other industry bodies as our partners in driving health and safety within the construction industry. So we provide grants to the industry to do that. We also have a number of other interventions and initiatives that we've put in place in that regard, including the fact that we load or provide rebates to our policyholders who are demonstrating good health and safety practices as well. We ourselves also have a health and safety award that we run on an annual basis, and it's very well supported by the industry, including the BBCBE, where we showcase the policyholders and employers effectively in the construction industry who are doing good by their employees in ensuring that they are safe and that they are healthy as well. And our Safe Timber Conference is our flagship conference, which we just had last month. Over and above that, this year, for the first time, we've launched our health and safety publication, and I strategically brought it up here because it is going to come in handy in a minute or two, and they were really just trying to start putting together articles and relevant information in that publication on the issue of health and safety, not only for the benefit of construction employers, but for the benefit of construction employees as well. And just to say that this magazine is freely available on FEM's website. And very proud of the work that the team did in terms of putting it together. We also focus on funding and driving training on health and safety within the construction. Recently, our focus has been on women in construction, SMMEs in the construction space as well, and we've done that in partnership with different industry bodies. And as was indicated there in the BBCBE's slides that they put up, we ourselves also fundamentally believe that we really need to change culture and behavior and attitudes, and that's how we're actually going to also drive health and safety within the industry. So interventions such as trying to drive health and safety at a school level are extremely, extremely key to that. And why is it that we do this? Because on a daily basis, we see the human impact of accidents in the workplace, the tragedy of accident in the workplace. And the reality is that as we scroll through employer reports, because that's part of what needs to be submitted when an accident happens, is that we get a report of what happened, how did this accident come about. And I must say, I've been with FEM since 2016, and I'm yet to come across an employer report where I thought, sure, that was an act of God. There was nothing that could be done. The reality is that often those accidents could have been avoided, right? And that's the real tragedy of all of it. And we issue and we publish statistics on a regular basis, and it's good to actually reflect on statistics because they give us trends, they let us know where the issues are, where the problems are. And the statistics are saying to us that the world of work is a hazardous place. The world of construction work is a hazardous place. And if we look at the statistics that the International Labour Organization issues on workplace accidents globally, unfortunately, they don't revise these on a regular basis, so these stats are often quoted, and maybe we've been quoting the same stats for the last few years, but according to the ILO, 2.8 million people die globally from work-related accidents. I mean, it's a staggering figure. You think about that, that's talking about 7,500 people on a daily basis across the world who are dying from work-related accidents. It's atrocious. That is indeed the case. And over and above that, more than 100,000 are dying within the construction industry across the world. I think what they say is that if you are in construction, you are up to 4 times more likely to die in the workplace than if you are in any other industry. And I remember reading an article in one of our in this magazine of ours, where one of the writers was saying, it's often said that to kill is construction, that it's acceptable. It's part and parcel of what happens is that we just appreciate that the casualty of constructing is that you will actually end up killing people. And that can't be acceptable, at all. None of us should be able to rest until we can deal with the scourge of accidents that are happening across construction sites. What I can say, and maybe to start with the glass half full as opposed to half empty, or to inject that as well, is that we have seen an improvement over the years, all right? So we've come from an environment where when we look at one of our key measures that we track as FEM is accident frequency. So it's basically the number of accidents that are happening relative to the number of employees that we cover. And the accident frequency has come down over the years. 10 or so years ago, we found that for every 100 construction employees that we cover, 10 would get involved in an accident within a year. That has come down to where now we're standing at around, for every 100 employees that we cover, 2 will be involved in an accident in a year. But remember the thing that I mentioned earlier on, double our statistics, because those are just our numbers from that perspective. So I'm not sure what the statistics might look like on the compensation fund perspective, but that is still an unacceptable number. And the reality is that we have noted that that has stagnated over the years. So we've not improved over the last few years. And indeed, even in South Africa, people are continuing to die on construction sites on a regular basis. Amongst our employers, 50 people died in 2022. Where, as of September this year, 37 people have died already on construction sites, right? And it's just an unbelievable characteristic of this injury. When I was a young person, my parents were in government. I never once thought they're going to work, they'll never come back because they might die at work. And I try and think about the trauma of people whose family members operate in construction to say that is actually a reality that they face on a regular basis, that there is a possibility that a loved one might go to work and never come back. And the accident statistics are good. I think they allow us to observe trends, to think about where are we going to intervene, etc. But they can also have the risk of dehumanizing what's really happening, right? And behind all of these statistics are real people whose lives have been changed irrevocably, right? And whose lives will never be the same again. And the human impact of accidents is something that maybe I just want to spend 1 or 2 seconds on, because for the injured employee or for their family if they pass away, the accident itself is just part of the story. There's a whole aspect of impacts that happen after the actual accident in itself, right? Whether it's the fact that they can no longer walk or go to work, whether it's the fact that they are now struggling with depression or post-traumatic stress disorder. I mean, these things are real. Whether it's the impact on their family, if the family has now lost a loved one, has lost a breadwinner, has lost a mother, has lost a father, has lost a son. And mind you, the people who are being involved in accidents and dying, in terms of what we see, are young people. We're talking about people in their 20s, people in their 30s, whose potential is snuffed. They don't really have that potential of realizing their own dreams, that they might have had in terms of where they might end up, the aspirations they had not only for themselves, but for their children as well. And I think to really, really get a good sense of it, you actually have to speak to these people. You actually have to engage not only with them, but possibly even with their family members as well. And we do that on a regular basis. As FEM, we do road shows across the country. We speak to injured employees who are receiving a benefit to us. We speak to their family members, if these are widows or widowers of people in the construction industry. And I always say to even my guys in the office, to say, we every now and then have to go out there, because sometimes you can start thinking it's about the paperwork that we're filling to make sure that benefits are paid, etc. We really need to go back and engage with the people who are affected by these accidents on a regular basis. I had some case studies that I was going to share with you as part of my presentation, but maybe I'll just speak to a couple in the interest of time. So, I get to sit with some of the widows and widowers. Effectively, in our industry, it's mainly widows who we get to engage with just because of the demographic profile of the people who work in construction. And I remember one case where I was sitting with a lady whose husband passed away in a motor vehicle accident driving between construction sites. When he passed away, her son was 5 years old, and he knew that dad had gone to work, dad is coming back. When I engaged with her, it was 4 years down the line. That little boy was 9 years old, and she was talking about the behavioral impacts of the fact that he's not performing well at school, he's actually lacking a father, and the impact of it is felt on a regular basis, and that it took a good couple of years, given his age, for him to understand that daddy is not coming back, right? That's the tragedy that she had to face. And I remember more recently we were in Mpumalanga doing a pensioner visit, and we had an elderly lady there who had come with her 2 older kids. Their father had passed away in a work-related accident. And remember, the pension that we pay out to widows in terms of law is 40% of the pension that we would have paid out to an injured employee. So it does not replace the full salary. Each child maybe gets 20% of the pension that we would have paid out to an injured employee as well. So the quality of life and cycle of poverty is reinforced when people get injured in the workplace. And I remember the 2 elderly children, they would have been my age, but their mother was there. She was a lady who was most probably in her 90s. And I remember them coming to me and explaining, that their mother has been receiving a pension from FEM for a long time. They are not working either. What's going to happen to that pension when their mother dies? And she was still alive. I mean, she was still sitting there in a wheelchair, but these were real bread and butter issues where, because of the loss of a father, they never managed to get to school and get a proper education. They're highly dependent on that pension that is being paid out to their mother, which is actually not a lot of money to start with. And instead of really enjoying their time with the elderly mother, they're actually worried now that if my mother now dies, what's going to happen to the pension that we have received? These are real life stories that we need to remember even as we speak about statistics. And maybe the last case study that I will share is the case study of Mzamo Ngobo. Some of you who attended our Safe Timber event may have seen him because he is one of the FEM pensioners who was injured in 2015. A trench collapsed while he was working with a couple of other colleagues, and he was severely injured. It was severe pelvic injuries that ended up with him being in hospital for a couple of months, being in a wheelchair for 3 months. He developed complications. He had to go back in hospital. In 2015, by my calculation, he's currently 30. So he would have been in his very early 20s when that happened. And one of the things that was profound that stood out for me when Mzamo spoke was when he indicated, actually, when I was about to go into the trench, I knew that something was wrong, but I couldn't say anything because I was afraid I would lose my job, right? He was afraid he would lose his job, and he went in regardless of that. And it talks sometimes to the attitude that employers also have, and perhaps the culture that is sometimes reinforced in the spaces where you can't speak because the employer-employee relationship is unequal, and you are afraid that if I say anything, actually I will lose my job, so I'll just take a chance in terms of going into that trench. And Mzamo's story is included in our magazine. And I did just want to read a little bit of a paragraph of where, the question was, over and above the physical injuries, what were some of the emotional and mental effects of the accident? And these are Mzamo's own words in terms of his response. He said, I had to rely on my mom and my sister for help. The unbearable pain was a heavy burden on me mentally, affecting my confidence and self-esteem. At some point, I was no longer in control of my anger. The physical effects also meant that I could no longer have kids. The accident really took a toll on me emotionally. I felt heartbroken. It was so bad that I even contemplated suicide. Right? So from an employer perspective, the accident happens, life goes on. We're replacing that injured employee with another employee who will do the work. We maybe worry about our lost time. I think there's that measure that is used in construction, lost time to injury or whatever it is, this stat that really concerns us in this space. So for us, it's a moment in time. For them, it's a lifetime. And we must really remember that and really put at the heart of what we do from health and safety, what will happen if we don't have health and safety in place. And over and above that, I tend to find that the attitude sometimes of employers when someone gets injured is that they almost become the forgotten ones. I'm often on roadshows engaging with employers where they'll ask us, what happened to that injured employee that used to work for them? And then I think to myself, what does that mean about when they actually last had an engagement with that person or with their family who used to actually work for them, who actually literally sometimes gave a life or a limb to try and make sure that they progress as an employer. So really, we can't forget these people who suffer accidents in the workplace. We need to see how do we actually improve their lives and validate them. As FEM, we've got a number of programs in that regard. You know, we run a pension assistance program where what we do, at least for these injured employees, is that we take their children to school. If the children themselves are the ones who are receiving a benefit from FEM because their parent has died or has passed away, we take them to school as well. And currently we're funding about more than 700 children that we're taking to school, and we take them from all the way from creche until they get their first degree. And it's really about trying to break the cycle of poverty that has been, that has been further reinforced because of the accident in the workplace. We've got an upskilling and reskilling program that we recently introduced. We've got about 1,000 former employees who are injured who are receiving a pension from FEM, and we've approached them to say, you know, we want to fund that you get upskilled or reskilled as an injured person so that you can actually go and either get back to work in a different capacity, start up your own small business in that regard as well, and that we will pay for it. It's been a slow uptake because for some of these people, they sometimes don't believe that we're being genuine and sincere in terms of doing that. And for some of them, it really is about the fact that I've not been working in a long time. You know, what does this actually mean from that perspective? But we're continuing to push on in that regard. And just to note as well that the law is going to force employers to really now take a step further when someone gets injured in the workplace. Some of you would have heard about the COID Amendment Act, and one of the key aspects of the COID Amendment Act is the rehabilitation and return to work of injured employees, where the law now is going to force employers to say, when someone is injured, you can't just forget about them. You actually have to rehabilitate them and work with us to try and get them back into the workplace. Whether that's your workplace, whether that's someone else's workplace, whether that's them becoming self-employed, but we do need to give these people hope and a second chance in life. So I know I said I wouldn't take a long time, and I get quite passionate about this, and I thought it might be appropriate actually to end off with Mzamo, whom I mentioned, who is the guy who spoke about contemplating suicide as well. Unfortunately, he's not here to speak for himself, and I would really encourage that, you know, as we have these things, let's try and also just bring in people who are directly affected by the consequences of poor health and safety as well, so that they can share their stories. But he actually participated in FEM's upskilling and reskilling program, and you can hear from him directly in that regard. But from my side, just to say thank you to everybody. Congratulations once again to those who are receiving awards, and to the BBCBE as well in terms of this event and continuing to champion and drive health and safety within construction. Thank you, everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is food for thought. And sorry? What? Oh, yeah. Vanilla, you're assisting us there?
Ngibingelele wonke umuntu igama uMzamo isibongo ngowangcobo. Namhlanje ngizochaza ukuthi sihlangane kanjani ne-FEM. I-FEM ngiyazi kusukela July 28, 2015 lapho khona ngalimala emsebenzini, ama-injuries ami agcine ngenza ukuthi ngibe disabled. Ngiba disabled ngale ndlela yokuthi angisakwazi ukuyichamela permanent, ngisebenzisa i-permanent catheter. So angikwazi ukuya e-toilet njengamanye amadoda. So la sesihambe ibanga elide no FEM kusukela ngawo July 28 ngilimalile ngangilele khona eMhlanga Netcare. Uma eMhlanga Netcare ngazolulamela ekhaya. After lokho FEM wakhona ukuthi ungenzisa i-course ngafonela uMr Lakhani engazisa nge-course. I-course engayenza video production, yes, and ngi-qualified for i-video production certificate ikhona, and I'm proud ngempilo yami because before bengisaba ukuthi mhlawumbe ngiphumele obala ngobumina or ngichaza ukuthi ngumuntu onjani kanjani. After i-FEM ingisizile, then ngabona ukuthi I know la impilo yami kahle kahle kukho konke okwenzeka before yayingishintshisa ukuyisebenza to ekuyisebenzeni, because njengamanje ngine company kuthiwa ikwenza kwami projects lapho khona ngenza i-graphic design, social media management, iyona i-video production, ihamba ne-photography. Kunjalo futhi lapho kuwona lama Facebook page engiwashoyo khona i-Royal Brotherhood, that's a football academy esayi-create nabanye abafowethu, siyiqale yona kodwa-ke last year. Iwona ama-trophy abo lapho, yabo, shuthi yonke into esiyenzayo iyenzeka. Iwona ama-trophy lawo. I'm proud ngami. I'm proud ngo-FEM ukuthi inkampani ekwazi ukuthi isuse umuntu phansi imise phezulu kade selahlekelwe yithemba, because ukulimala kwami ongilahlekisa ngethemba kakhulu. But ngoncedo labo bakwazi ukuthi bangikhuphule. Kuningi ngiyabonga kaningi futhi nami ngizoqhubeka ngiyinakekele njengoba ihlezi ishikhole eqhamuka FEM ukuthi uyinakekele, and which is into vele namina engaphakathi kumina, yabo, because anginyanyi manje and anginyezi manje. I'm proud ngiqhubeke nodlelwane be-FEM. So la i-FEM after singifundisile iphinde yakwazi ukuthi ingixhaseke manje nge-equipment, i-equipment ekwazile ukuthi ibe 100,000. So njengamanje ikwenza kwami project when it comes to video production, when it comes to photography, ngenza into or ngenzela umsebenzi ki-client, but once lavezele omunye umuntu naloyo muntu ephenduka i-client, which lapho kusho ukuthi engikwenzayo konke okuhle kusuka ngaphakathi othandweni, kodwa futhi uthando belingelutho lulodwa ngaphandle koncedo la FEM.
Again, another round of applause for, and we are going to be doing this the whole night because after the CEO of FEM gave such a good talk, we can have here another round of applause for her before she sits down. I'm actually just, thinking that, as South Africans, we are a passionate, people. And I say that because, we do everything with passion. We do things that, we believe in. And I think everybody will agree with me that this kind of event, it would be amiss if we do not say to ourselves, we are having this event in the middle of the Springboks plying their trade in France. It would have been totally wrong for all of us not to really sort of urge those guys to bring it home. And this will be FEM and BBCBE and all the people sitting around that sending that message. And we'd like to be captured and say that every other function that happens in South Africa must really send the message. On Saturday, kuyafiwa on Saturday. And I think that, thank you, Brother. Yeah. And I think having said that, one doesn't stop talking about what that kind of the group Springbok does in uniting, the South Africans. And I think the work ethic that is there speaks to how we should run our businesses, how we should actually take this safety issue very, very seriously, even on site, so that we know that at the end of the day, we have a zero occurrence, if there is such a thing, on site, that people do not get hurt. If you look at the dedication, a lot of us in the last 2 or 3 weeks, we're sitting on edge of our seats, thinking we are sort of going to be kicked out of the World Cup. But look at how those guys with a strategy, only them, the 15 players on the field, knew that they are not going out, knew that they can never even let the South Africans down. And I think we all say to them, Boke, 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 Boke. Thank you. I think Rato has an announcement to make. Thank you. Just going forward.
Thank you, Stoward. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Got something for y'all, hey? Are you ready? It's not a Bokke special thing, but it's something. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to call forward not forward to the stage, but forward Mr. Bongani, sex with an A, to come and serenade us with something, and may you please have a great time. Sir, the floor is yours. You awake? Ready to party? Well, I think I also enjoyed that. I also want to, go down fast track and get to the beating of things, But ladies and gentlemen, I think we've gotten to the part that is most important tonight. And we will be now recognizing and appreciating people who are working towards the hashtag zero casualty. But I must say, that passion was exactly what Starward was talking about when it comes to rugby. I think he's demonstrated it today, and I think on Saturday we are going to also demonstrate the same passion behind our boys. I hope so.
Sometimes I need to get away to find myself a brighter day. Sometimes I need to find.
Thank you so much, Mr. DJ. And yes, now we are at a very important part of this evening, and I am going to call forward one of the adjudicators in the process of selecting these wonderful leaders in the OHS field, or rather in the broader spectrum of things, the construction and engineering space. Mr. Lufuno Riziki, is it vendor? Is it vendor? Okay, the president of, thank you, sir. The president of SACPCMP, 6th term, Mr. Lufuno Ratiku, is passionate about leading team development and influencing social cohesion among multicultural, multiracial team members with similar objectives. With a master's degree in construction management, he brings an integration of various skills and resources to ensure realization of project objectives to the council. During his tenure, he looks forward to collaborating with various SACPCMP stakeholders and professionals within the built environment, and would like to see transformation, growth, in terms of staff to impact professions positively. His top 3 values are transparency, social cohesion, and due diligence. And in business, he feels that continuous improvement is very important. So I guess, ladies and gentlemen, we can trust that the process went well. I mean, his values says it all, right? We can trust him. You're not a politician, right? So, Mr. Lufuno, I think I'm just gonna, before I, it's hard here, hey? You can come join me on stage and we'll start with the process.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. There was a need to confirm if that is vendor. And somebody at the back said, no, it's street vendor. I'm not a street vendor. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, program directors, for this opportunity this evening.
And greetings, colleagues and the participants of the Black Business Council in the built environment. Indeed, my name is Rufuno, and the surname is Ratsiku. I am the 6th-term president of the SACP-CMP. We are not a communist party. We are a regulatory body of the built environment, professions. And I think there was a running theme here that had to do with the Bokkers. So sadly, I'm a fan of Kaizer Chiefs. But we also own a rugby team, for those who follow soccer. We own a rugby team while we are a soccer team. So we are not far off. We'll get there. We'll get there. Colleagues, for my sins, I happen to be given the longest slot of this program. And if I become too passionate, then you'll be stuck with me longer than you desire. So I'll try to control that. I'll try to control that. And maybe just to give a bit of a disclaimer in terms of the adjudication process. The three names that I'm going to mention, including myself, are not the owners of the process, but we finalized the process, having been given the list of competitors. And there was a service provider who assisted prior us. And I'm saying that for a reason that when I start listing the categories, if you know and understand the work of the SACP-CMP, you will see that the categories are not the exact categories that our regulatory body deals with. But it's okay, they are mentioned according to how the competitors had to submit to be part of the competition, to work towards being winners of those categories. And in terms of the final adjudication panel, it was myself and and maybe for the purpose of recognition, if colleagues don't mind, the other two who worked with me, that when I call their names, they just wave or at least stand for visibility, or any other approach that they would prefer to be seen, or visible. And the names are Mr. Trevor Mpatsi from CIOB. And the last and the third name is Mr. Nkosinati Kuseni from CIDB. All right. Thank you, colleagues. So in terms of the method that was followed to work towards the list of winners and participants, the panel was mandated to assess the submissions for 2 years, which is 2022 and 2023. I'm not calling them financial years because I'm not sure there is no one financial year that unites the construction industry in terms of the start and the end of the period. Then there were 24 site audits that were conducted, both in 2022 and 2023. And across the categories, small size being from 5 million to 100 million rand projects, and medium size being 100 million to 450 million, and large size being above 450 million. And please don't take it as a rule that we are saying projects of this size are defined as small, medium, and large. Just for the purpose of this process, they are classified as such. All reports that were submitted electronically and physically to the BBCBE internal training desk, and no reports are given to the members as they are part of the ongoing health and safety competition leading up to the awards. That only means that these reports were submitted to people who were not conflicted to be part of these reviews. So none of the names that are here would have awarded themselves. It was reviewed by others and they were separate from that process. So that is important, because in South Africa people give themselves titles and they call themselves things that they are not called by institutions. So this process is not like that. And then the projects were further subdivided into 5 categories of nominations. And like I said, these categories do not represent what the professional bodies classify or categories of any registration. So the categories were best safety representative. So, and standing here, I am interested that the BBCBE, if they so wish, they allow us next time to start with the process so that the SACPCMP can call the categories as they are called in terms of the Act. Because the Act does not have safety representative, but the Act has a safety officer. The Act has a safety manager and also a safety agent, but they are called in full terms. And you also have then construction project manager, construction manager, and building inspector. So those are the 6 categories that the SACPCMP register. It doesn't mean that the process is on fault. It's not. I'm just saying for my interest that if I'm presenting, I would like to call things the way the Act is calling them. And the 3rd category was the best site / project manager. The 4th was best performing site, and the 5th was best subcontractor. Program directors, I hope I'm not a comedian. I'm just noticing that there's some excitement. Until I crack a joke, I'll be sure that I'm not a joke myself, maybe. So in terms of the limitations that we had to disclose as the final adjudication committee, we noted that some recommendations, meaning that the forms that had to be submitted, some of them were not completed, but they were closer to how we could interpret what the participants meant to submit, as opposed to calling them to clarify when we didn't have more time to do that. And clearly by the site auditors who did the summaries of the recommendations, they also seemed to lack a bit of some final touch-ups information from the participants. But I think that also had to do with the time pressure that colleagues were given to submit. So our disclaimer is that panel members are independent members. They are not influenced, they are not sent a WhatsApp by anybody to decide who should get what category of winning. In fact, throughout that process, my phone was off, so I could not have received any SMS from anyone. And yeah, that is in terms of how we worked on the process. So I will start then by recognizing the participants, because in every competition there are those who participate and there are those who become the runners, there are those who also become winners. But all those become very important because they make the work to be carrying some quality and credibility in terms of how we arrive to the end results. And The participants, I will be under a decided guide whether they will come to the stage or they will collect their certificates after the session. Maybe that will also save time because you are stuck with me for quite a while. But long as I am, I'll try to be short now that I'm done with the process that was followed. So I'm just going to list the names of the participating sites first. And I guess then those are the participants effectively. And number one, and I will not then mention the numbers as I go on. There is Artisan Development Trade Test. Then there is Artisan Development College. ASCOOL Construction CC for NW Border Refurbishment, which I'm assuming NW stands for Northwest. Komu Property Developers for Huhudi Primary School and Tlahameng Primary School. Elevator Maintenance Company. Enza Construction for Princess Plots. PepsiCo and ADC 13. I suppose that's a joint. Should be some type of JV maybe. Epic Engineers. FV Trading Enterprise. Humolimo Construction. John Thompson for various hospitals in the Northwest. Joey Trading CC. Lubocon Civils. Luengo JV. M2M Project, PMesh for EMPD Precinct and Lehigh Lasars, Rainbow Civils, Lumacon for Sunby Pretoria and Sita Centurion, Malakeng Construction Engineering, Marabe JV with Polygon, Moteo Construction for South Hills, CDC Tasses and Mansfield, Motla Projects for Stetford and JW 14310, SGB Cape for Litabo, Kelvin and Kusile Power Stations, as well as Sapi, Ngodwana and Saiko and Stain City, Todani Kowepu JV, Washirika 3 Oaks for Steve Biko and South Africans Hospitals, Empath, Life, Flora, and others. Olmec, I hope I'm not butchering this one. Yeah, so in terms of the participating sites, you would notice that some of them are called by contractors' names, some of them are called by project names that we couldn't have controlled. I suppose it had to do with how these were submitted. So in terms of participating sites, participating contractors, participating projects, we started by recognizing those. It may happen that when you come into the winners, some of them are, and this may be all of them, or the list might not be exhaustive. So please, let's give a round of applause for all the participants. And before I move to announce the winners, can I just get one note of advice? If you play music in the background while waiting for this, I won't dance. I'm not a good dancer, but the music can go ahead.
What I've learned from the ocean, how to dance and rejoice in the motion. Let the sun have its moment, the moon will come. What I've learned from a soldier,
Every man is a son to a daughter, and we only remember.
And I'm going to request the president of the BBCBE to join me on stage for the purpose of handshake and handing over of certificates. No, I'm not talking about golden handshakes. President, thanks.
Don't grow up on me. Keep that backstroke in your afro. Don't you grow up on me.
Your name, please.
Slow.
Come up front with the best possible pace that is also safe for these steps, so that you don't trap yourself. So the following are the winners on various categories, and I'm starting by BBCBE Health and Safety Awards 2022-2023, and the best subcontractor, being small in terms of category, it's Manya Construction for Park Homes Erasmia. Please present yourselves at the stage. And I will be quick to assume that when I don't see anyone, there's no delegation from that institution. And the best subcontractor for medium group, Moteo Construction Group CDC TASES project, and that is for between 100M and 450M, just to clarify that. So, thank you. Advise that Motero must never subcontract in the future. They're huge enough. Well done. And thank you for participating, sir. The third winner being best performing site, small in the category of the rands and millions mentioned, SGB Cape, Sasol Secunda. And the next winning category is best performing site medium, and that is SGB Cape Kusile Power Station. thank you for bringing the unit back from Kusile. I think you saved us. You saved us. The next category is best performing site, large, and large being above 450 million. Moteo Construction Group, Nansfield, 372 units. Well done. The next category, best project manager for small category, and that is Washirika 3 Oaks, Life Healthcare, Flora, Hematology. Maybe you pause a bit before you move further, just in case you are delegated for the next. If you are not, then you will decide to move. The best project manager, medium, Washirika 3 Oaks, Netcare Garden City. And the next winning category, best project manager for large, Enza Construction, ADC 13 Midrand, and the large being above 450, and the winner is Enza Construction. So while we proceed, it's important to mention that there are participants who competed for all categories, all being small, medium, and large. And it so happened that some winners won small, medium, and large. So when you see some faces repeating, that is important to note. The next category and best site officer stroke manager, that is for small, and the winner is SGB Cape Sasol Secunda. Best Site Officer Stroke Manager for medium. So please note that the previous was small. For medium, and again is Washirika, 3 Oaks, Netcare, Garden City. And the next winner for Best Site Officer Stroke Manager for Large, it's SGB Cape Kelvin Power Station. And please take a task. Kelvin Power Station is contributing well in Joburg. So just make sure that it just do away with the load shedding in Joburg, in case you do talk to them. So you do talk to them. They gave you a project anyway. Best Health and Safety Representative for small, that is Colmec Construction ERF 350. That is the winner. And that is from 5 to 100 being a small category. The winner is Colmex Construction. If you have an award at school and you don't present yourself, we remove you. So maybe we must negotiate after this session. All right, and the Best Health and Safety Representative for Medium, John Thompson, and that is from 100 to 450 M. The winner is John Thompson. And Best Health and Safety Representative for Large, Muteo Construction Group, Nansfield 317. About Muteo Construction Group. When I was a learner, the person who gave me a checklist of how to inspect a house was Dr. Tandindlo. And that was in Mpumalanga. I was working for Mpumalanga provincial government, and we were inspecting the houses that they were building. And she visited the site and said, so, uberekisa hangu inspector. Ungala kokai uri snake list is correct. And I had some funny diary. And for some reason, after that meeting, I had a checklist that we actually improved and used it better after that. That is a nice story that when I see Muteo Construction Group proceeding well, even beyond those who initiated it, it's motivating. It's motivating. The next winning category, am I safe? Yes, ma'am. The best improved site, and that is another category that you're just hearing, which we didn't mention from the beginning from the list that we dealt with now. Most improved site, it's Lubocon Civils, and that is broken spray to road maintenance. Right. Program director, you gave me an advice that I need to align with what I have here in front of me. If you could come back and they play some music while you move, program director, while you move. No, you're not, you must move with the music. Advice and a piece of lesson learned for the next participants. Okay, for the next participants, I think the CEO of FEM spoke largely about the role that the industry should play in saving lives, really, so that people who are meant to go and have some earnings on sites don't continue to not go back to their homes. And I'm aligning that with how these awards should be interpreted. If you are going to say to the adjudication panel, you had a good safety file on site, sorry, you will become a participant and not a winner of anything, because we don't praise fish for swimming. So save lives and rescue us from all the non-compliances that are in these sites, so that we can continue to have our people and they live longer. So you are not going to say, I complied with OSH Act. It's a law, you must comply. And if you submitted that, probably you didn't attend the session today. So if you say you complied with Construction Regulations 2014, it is what is required of you. It's just like saying I pitched at work. It's what is required of you. So let's save lives and let's do it meaningfully. From the SACP-CMP perspective, please, when you verify your professionals, do contact us. There's a lot of fraud that is happening in the industry that we are not part of, and we don't even know it. So when you appoint your safety officers, your health and safety managers, your construction agents and all that, please do contact us so that we verify if those certificates are valid. Because in most instances, those things are discovered when there's an incident on site, that this was a fraudulent certificate. So I'm just making that call. And even yourselves, when you tender and you say you are going to plug a safety officer on site, post-tender, please let's find that safety officer on site. part of the greatest contributors of these incidents is that people tender with nice and powerful profiles. And when the site open, those people are not there. So yes, you can chop and change, but please, let's retain qualities on our sites. If you say you have a construction manager who's registered, when that project starts and the Department of Labor and other interested bodies go there, they must find registered personnel. And lastly, if you are one of those people who are still awarding contracts for non-registered professionals in this industry, please stop it. President, thank you very much. And program directors, thank you very much. I hope I've done due diligence for my part. Thank you.
Save lives while building our communities. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we've come to almost the end of what today was meant to be. I am now going to call a good friend of mine, the chairperson who organized this session, who led us vigorously and diligently for us to get to where we are today, Ms. Zandile Ntlokwana, who is very big on skills development, founder and CEO of Headstrong Foundation that deals with developing young minds and young people and offering and empowering young people in townships with skills within the built environment. She also has a holding something that deals with a lot of things. So she's in different pockets of the economy because she's a young woman who is trying to build her community and also make impact in all spaces in which she exists in. Ms. Ntlokwana, can you please come give us a vote of thanks?
This world is much too small for me to breathe. You are my obsession. I walk this road day by.
So I was told never to over-introduce yourself because, hey, now you need to live up to that level. My job is simple. I just have to do a few thank yous. But I would like to start with calling on Lorato Moncho, our service provider who is actually handling our site audits, to assist me with this process.
This world is much too small for me to breathe. You are my obsession. You take me to heaven.
Audits in the year 2020.
You are everything I want, and you're all that I need. You're the ocean of my universe.
All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. May I please call on the following speakers just to receive a token of appreciation for joining us this evening and lending us your voice as well as your expertise. Mr. Ishmael Kasim from the CIDB, Ms. Ndibuo Manyonga from EM, Tate Lefuno Radziku from SACP CMP, Mr. Trevor, not Mpatsi, because Mr. Mpatsi is sitting under a tree enjoying a beer from the CIDB. And we'll also just acknowledge Mr. Nkosnati Kuseni from CIDB, who was also part of our adjudication panel. Has he made it in? Okay, he's not here yet, so in absentia. So DJ, we're just going to have a young photo up. You can give us a nice.
take me to heaven. This world is much too small for me to breathe. You are my obsession. I know what time, you know the place. Try to find a way to make you wait. I'll bring the candles, you can be my flame. I'll look into your eyes, baby, say my name, take me to heaven. This world is much too small for me to breathe. You are my obsession. Still you.
Allow me to acknowledge the registrar of the SACP-CMP. For protocol purposes, we don't want Dina Lady to lose her job tomorrow. All right, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to thank the President and the Treasurer General in absentia of the BBCBE for allowing us to actually have this event and really allocating those funds. We really appreciate it. I thank all the speakers who lent us their expertise and their voices this evening. We're truly appreciative of that. And all our winners, and by all our winners, I mean every single one of you. You're literally a bunch of winners. Our service providers, Lisibo Tech on videography, Helene Photography, who's doing our photography, as well as I-24 Detail for the deco. I thought it's good as Black business entrepreneurs and promoters of Black business just to give a shout out to our small business doing the thing. Our venue and all our waiters under the management of Bab Bismarck, Mr. Absalom and Sis Rose, and Tato on Tech, truly appreciative of all your efforts to make this evening a success. To our organizers, without your efforts, truly this evening would not have come to pass and it wouldn't look this great. Truly appreciate it. President will thank us properly at our year-end function. Last but not least, our program directors in pink, and Tate Stolwat with a fellow Stolwat. So Tate Stolwat insisted that we play that song, Forward We Go, and he was so certain we're all gonna have a jaw. So I think after I speak, TJ, you need to make sure we play that song one more time so Stolwat can see us all have a jaw. Miss Lorato Mancha? No. Ooh, Jesus, yo. Miss Lerato Mwamoja, AKA Construction Bay, a dear friend of mine. Apologies for that. I owe you a drink. Thank you so much for emceeing this event so diligently for us. Thank you to everyone, and do enjoy the rest of your evening. Let us have that jaw for Stolwat.
DJ, I think there are people that we forgot to recognize because they said, the organizer herself said that we are a bunch of winners. So for those who did not win, I mean, this is a winner's circle, but just not go Times Square or Emperor's Palace. But we just want to recognize the people who were part of the process and who participated but did not, unfortunately, become the number ones of tonight, but you are the number ones of the industry. So I'm going to call everyone. Please, let's make it quick so that we can dance to Star Wars song. So I'm just going to call out these names, and we're just going to have a group photo with your certificate as a token of appreciation, and also recognizing that, and also us saying that we do see you and continue doing the great work, and not to take away from the SACCMP President's words. I am going to call the Artisan Development Trade Test. All right. Artisan Development College. ASCO Construction CC for Northwest. Border Refurbishment. Commu Property Developers. If we could just settle down. I've got a squeaky voice, so it might be hard for others to hear me. Kumu Property Developers for Huhudi Primary School and Takameng Primary School. Elevator Maintenance Company. Enza Construction for Princess Plots, PepsiCo, and ADC 13. You guys are not, you don't want to take a picture with me? Is that what it is? Or are we hungry? All right. Enza Construction for Princess Plots, PepsiCo Company, and ADC 13. Epic Engineers. FV Trading Enterprise. Chair. John Thompson for various hospitals in the Northwest. Joey Trading CC. Lubicon Civils. Luyengo JV. M2M Project. PMesh for EMPD Present and Lihaye Lasars. Rainbow Civils. Lumacon for Sanbi Pretoria and Sita Centurion. Malakeng Construction Engineering. Marabe JV with Polygon. Mother Construction for South Hills. CDC Tazes and Nansfield. Mutla Projects for Sterford and JW 14310. I don't know if I'm saying right. SGB Cape for Letabo Calvin and Kusile Power Station, as well as Saping Godwana and Psycho and Stain City. Totani Kwepu JV. Washrika 3 Oaks for Steve Biko and for Steve Biko and Zaid Afrikaans Hospitals, Empath, Life Flora, and others. Say this one. And the last one, Olmak. President, if you could join us on stage, please. Mr. Lufuno, please join us on stage.
Are you ready to move forward? No more going back. We are moving forward. Not gonna be weary. I'm not gonna give up. Forward I go with my Lord. Not gonna be weary. I'm not gonna give up. Forward I go with my. I'm not gonna be weary. I'm gonna be weary. I'm not gonna give up. Forward I go with my Lord. I'm not gonna be weary. I'm gonna be weary. I'm not gonna give up. Forward I see yourself. See.
that song was also a prayer for the food, and we hope that you do enjoy this meal. But while we are having a supper, I think I want to call Mr. Bongani Sex with an A to come and serenade us. And yeah, enjoy your meal, and then we'll see each other on the flip side. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.